Hi guys, I welcome you back to Farm to Fortune, where passion meets productivity in the world of farming. So in today's video, I'll be breaking down how much feed is required by broilers from day-old chicks to the point of sales. That is, how much feed do each of your broiler birds require from day-old chicks to their point of sale. So when I say point of sales, I mean when the birds are ready for sales. Your whole point of sales could be 5 weeks, another person's point of sales could be 6 weeks, while another person's own could be 10 weeks, 12 weeks, or even 8 weeks. But in this video, I'll be breaking down the feed, that is the quantity of feed each of your broiler birds would require from day-old chicks till they are 6 weeks of age. I'll be making another video explaining from day-old chicks till 12 weeks of age, especially for those of you that are planning to raise December Christmas chicken for 10 weeks or 12 weeks. So guys, let's get started. There has been a lot of controversies on social media, especially on Facebook groups, where a lot of people come online to ask questions like, how many feed should I feed my broiler chickens from day old till 5 weeks till 6 weeks or even 2 weeks of age? So there are a lot of people that come that, so I have 25 broilers, I have 200 broilers, I have like this number of broilers, how much feed should I feed them from day old to 6 weeks of age? So in today's video, I'll be breaking down to you how much feed a bird, that is one bird, would require from day old to their point of sales, that is to 6 weeks. So if you are raising 10 broilers, if you want to raise 25 broilers, or you just want to raise 50 broilers, 100 broilers, or even 500 broilers, no matter the amount of birds you want to raise, this video is going to teach you how you can calculate the feed, the amount of feed, that is the quantity of feed that a bird would be required from day old to their 6 weeks of age. So I will be breaking it down per bird, so that at the end of the day, the number of birds you want to raise, you will only have to multiply it by whatever quantity that I am giving you here. But for this particular video, I'll be making use of 100 broiler birds as example, so that you would understand better, so that by the time you start your own calculation, instead of you multiplying the numbers by 100, you will only have to multiply those numbers by the number of birds you are raising, be it 10 broiler birds, 20 broiler birds, 100 broiler birds, 500, or even 1000. So guys, you have to grab a pen and a paper for you to understand better, because this is going to be practical. And also get your calculator beside you, because we'll be calculating some things together in this particular video. So you want to sit back and watch this video to the very end for you to understand everything. So if you are just coming this channel for the very first time, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on your bell notification, so that we get notified each time we post new content. So like I said initially, that this video is only for those of you that want to raise your broiler chickens from day old to 6 weeks only. So I'll be making a separate video that will be explaining for those of you that want to like raise your birds till maybe 12 weeks, because what you will be feeding your birds for the first 6 weeks of their life is quite different from what those people that want to raise their birds for just 6 weeks are going to feed their birds. So it is two different things. So if that is what you want to learn, I'll be making a separate video explaining that for those of you that want to raise Christmas chicken and raise them for like 12 weeks, 10 weeks, or minimum of 8 weeks. So guys, let's get started. Here is a breakdown of the quantity of feed your broilers requires from week 1 to week 6, that is for 6 weeks. So if you are feeding your birds to 6 weeks, you should be ready to invest in your feed for it to have a profitable production. So I hear a lot of people say that, oh, feed your broiler chickens 3 kg of feed them 4 kg, feed them 4.5, feed them this, feed them that for 6 weeks. In this video, I'll be breaking everything down to you. You can feed your birds 2 kg of feed, you can feed them 3 kg, you can feed them 4 kg, you can feed them 4.5. It all depends on the end result that you want to get, whether you want to raise smaller birds or you want to have big birds at the end of the day, but at the same time we'll be learning everything right here. So for instance, now if you want to feed your birds 3 kg of feed, I will only advise you to raise those birds till 5 weeks. Raise them to 5 weeks and then sell them off. So you do not want to budget feeding one bird 3 kg of feed and raising them till maybe 6 weeks of age, because this is going to affect your FCR and on the long run might have like a shortage in your profit margin or thereabouts. So you'll be learning everything here. Relax, learn and understand everything. So like I said earlier, this video is going to be practical and we are diving into the practical aspects right now. So the first week of your birds, that is when your birds just arrive your farm, the first week, that is from day 0 to day 7, that is for the first week of their age, your birds are supposed to consume between 180 gram to 200 gram of feed. So 180 gram to 200 gram of feed is what one bird will consume for week 1. Like I said initially that I'll be using 100 birds as example for this particular video. So if you have 100 birds, you have to multiply that 180 gram or 200 gram by 100 birds. So this is why I'm saying that this is going to teach you how to calculate the feed, that is the quantity of feed your birds require for 6 weeks. So if you have 10 birds, if you have 20, if you have 200, 500 or whatever quantity, all you just have to do is multiply 180 gram or 200 gram per the number of birds you have to give you the quantity of feed they will consume for the first week of their life. So for this particular video now, I'm making use of 100 birds as an example. So the first week, a bird is supposed to consume between 180 gram to 200 gram. So for 100 birds, we'll have to multiply that 180 by 100 or 200 gram by 100. Remember that the more feed you feed your birds, the bigger the birds. So it depends on the kind of result you want to achieve will determine the quantity of feed you are feeding your birds. So when we multiply that by the number of birds, we will be arriving at 18,000 gram of feed to 20,000 gram of feed. So that is in gram. Now remember that the feed that we use to feed our birds, those ones that they used to pack in those bags, the bags of feed we buy, they come in kg. So they can either come either in 25 kg of feed or 50 kg. It depends. So in this calculation now, we are making emphasis on gram. So for you to arrive at the kilogram, that is the kg of feed that would be required by these birds, you have to convert that gram to kilogram. And for you to convert that, you divide the number, that is the amount of feed all the 100 birds will be consuming for that week by 1,000. So from this calculation now, we already arrive at 18,000 gram of feed to 20,000 gram of feed. So when we divide that by 1,000, we would be arriving at 18 kg of feed to 20 kg of feed. So this means that if you are raising your broiler birds, in the first week of their life, you have to give them between 18 kg to 20 kg of feed. And if in your location you are using maybe a bag of feed comes in 25 kg, that is less than 1 bag of feed. So that is what 100 broilers will consume for the first week of their life. So they will consume between 18 kg to 20 kg of feed. So you can decide to give your own 18.5, you can decide to feed your own 19 kg, you can decide to feed your own 19.5, but they should consume between 18 kg to 20 kg of feed for the first week of their life. So that is the first week. Now let's move to the second week. Now that we are done with calculating the quantity of feed 100 broilers will consume for the first week, so you have to do the same thing for the amount of birds you want to raise. So for the first week now, if yours is maybe 50 birds, if it is 200 birds, you multiply that 180 to 200 gram by the number of birds you want to raise, then you divide by 1000 for you to arrive at kg. I hope you understand. Now let's move to the second week. The second week of their life, a bird is supposed to consume between 350 gram of feed to 400 gram of feed. So for the same thing we did in the first week, you multiply that amount of feed by 100. So the remaining videos I'll be doing will be very short. I've done the first explanation, so if you do not understand this explanation, you have to watch the first week explanation back, because I will just have to I won't be repeating myself for the other weeks. I'll just go straight to the calculation, because I want to believe that you understand this from the first week that I calculated. So the second week they'll be consuming 350 gram to 400 gram of feed. So you multiply 350 gram by 100 birds or 400 gram by 100 birds. This will give you between 35,000 gram of feed to 40,000 gram of feed. So when you convert that to kg, you will be arriving at 35 kg to 40 kg of feed. So that is what they will consume for the second week. So if you want to add the first week on and the second week on now, you will be adding 18 kg plus 35 kg, which will give you 53 kg of feed for the first 2 weeks of their life for 100 broilers. Or you had 20 kg of feed plus 40 kg of feed, which will give you 60 kg of feed for the first 2 weeks for 100 broilers. So this is for those of you that brood to sell. You do not even venture into raising broilers for maybe commercial purpose to 6 weeks or the likes. Maybe you don't have money, you only have maybe limited amount of money. So let's take for example, now you want to raise 100 broilers for 2 weeks. 2 bags of feed is enough for you if you are using if in your location you are using 25 kg per bag of feed, and if in your location they are using 50 kg per bag of feed, 1 bag of feed is enough for you. So though you will be needing between 53 kg to 60 kg of feed for 2 weeks. But if you just want to brood to sell, that you just want to raise these birds for the first 2 weeks of their life and sell them whole, you can decide to ration that feed to maybe 50 kg of feed, and then at 2 weeks 2 bags of feed if you are using 25 kg per bag of feed, or 1 bag of feed if you are using 50 kg per bag of feed, will be enough for you to raise 100 broiler chickens for 2 weeks. And then after that, you can decide to sell to those people that used to buy brooded birds that will now raise them from 2 weeks upward. So do the calculation yourself. How much are they selling a bag of feed in your area? How much are they selling day-old chicks in your area? Use this to do your calculation and know how much you would be spending to raise these birds for 2 weeks before you now sell them off as brood and sell. So that's that for second week. Now let's move to the third week. The third week, the more these birds grow, the more feed they consume. So by the third week, a bird is expected to consume between 600 gram of feed to 650 gram of feed. So when you multiply that by 100 birds, that is the total number of your birds, will be arriving at 60,000 gram of feed to 65,000 gram of feed for 100 broilers. Remember that you have to multiply this by the total number of birds you want to raise, whether you want to do 10, 50, 200, 500 or 1000. So when this is for 100 birds, this video is this example is for 100 birds. So for 100 birds, you have 60,000 grams to 65,000 grams of feed. So when you divide that by 1000 to give you in kg, you will be getting between 60 kg to 65 kg of feed. So remember, the same thing we did for the second week and first week, that we added it together. So when we had the first, second and third week together, now it will be like having between 18 plus 35 kg plus 60 kg of feed. We give us 113 kg of feed for the first 3 weeks of their life. So this is like 4 bags of feed and some kg. That is if you use 25 kg of feed in your location, or you give them 20 kg of feed the first week, 40 kg the second week, and 65 kg the third week. So this will give you 125 kg of feed for the first 3 weeks of their life for 100 broilers, which is 100 broilers will consume approximately 5 bags of feed for 3 weeks if you are using 25 kg per bag of feed. So that's for the third week. And the fourth week, a bird is expected to consume between 750 grams to 850 grams of feed the fourth week. So when you multiply that by the number of beds, that is for 100 beds, we arrive at 75,000 grams of feed to 85,000 grams of feed. So when we convert this to kg by dividing each of these by 1,000, so we'll be arriving at 75 kg of feed to 85 kg of feed for the 4 week, for the fourth week, that is for 100 broilers. So when you did the calculation for the first week, second week, third week and fourth week, we will be arriving at 18 plus 35 kg plus 60 kg plus 75 kg will give us 188 kg of feed for the first 4 weeks of their life for 100 broilers. Or we had 20 kg plus 40 kg plus 65 kg plus 85 kg to give us 210 kg of feed for the first 4 weeks for 100 broilers. So you can always feed your birds between this range. Remember, the more feed you give them, the bigger your birds are. So at the same time, you can also work with your budget. So you can just pick a pen and a paper and try and do your own budget. How much do you have at hand? How many birds can they raise? How much is their OC now? What do you need? Your charcoal, your this, your that. I think I explained. I have a video on this. I'll be pinning that on this video right now so that for you to watch. So how much sawdust will you be needing? Will you be needing charcoal? Will you be needing this? So just write everything down and do your calculation. How much do you have before you just jump to buy a certain number of day-old chick? You have to do your budget first and decide that, okay, how many feed will you what is the quantity of feed you want to budget for these birds? How long do you want to raise them for? Do you want to raise them for just 4 weeks, 5 weeks, or 6 weeks? So they help you instead of you jumping on all social media platforms and asking people how much feed do you need to give your broiler birds for 6 weeks or for a certain duration, and then different people comes with different opinion, and at that time you are just confused and don't know who to listen to. So this is the video for you. Now that we are done with the 4th week, let's move to the 5th week. Week 5, a bird is supposed to consume between 1,000 grams to 1,200 grams of feed. So for this one now, this we already know that conversion of gram to kg is you divide it by 1,000. So at 5 weeks, since they will be consuming 1,000 grams or 1,200 grams of feed, we just have to divide this straight up. So which means a bird is supposed to consume 1 kg to 1.2 kg of feed at 5th week. So for 100 birds now, we multiply 1 kg by 100, which will give us 100 kg, or 1.2 kg by 100, which will give us 120 kg of feed at the 5th week. So like the same way we did for pre-calculation, for the 1st week to the 5th week, one bird will consume 18 kg plus 35 kg plus 60 kg plus 75 kg plus 100 kg, which will give us 288 kg of feed for the first 5 weeks of their life for 100 broilers. or you give them 20 kg for the first week plus 40 kg plus 65 plus 85 plus 120 kg to give you 330 kg of feed for the first 5 weeks of their life for 100 broilers. Remember, this calculation is for 100 broilers alone. So the amount of broilers you want to raise, the quantity of broilers you want to raise, is what we use to multiply this feed, the quantity of feed that each bird will consume throughout that week. And the 6th week, one bird, that is one broiler bird, will consume 1,200 grams of feed at 6 weeks. So if at 5 weeks you gave your birds 1,200 grams of feed, at 6 weeks you have to maintain that quantity as well. So at 5 weeks, if you gave them 1,000 grams of feed, that is 1 kg, at 6 weeks you have to increase it to 1,200 grams or 1.2 kg of feed. So at 6 weeks, the birds will consume 1.2 kg of feed. So when you multiply that by the number of birds you have, so for this video now we are making use of 100 birds. So 1.2 kg of feed times 100 birds will give us 120 kg of feed. So let's do for the total calculation now for the first 6 weeks. So the first week they will consume 18 kg plus 35 kg plus 60 kg plus 75 kg plus 100 kg plus 120 kg, which will give us 408 kg of feed for 6 weeks for 100 birds. Or you had 20 kg plus 40 plus 65 plus 85 plus 120 plus 120 kg that will consume at 6 weeks, which will give you 450 kg of feed for 6 weeks. So that at the end of your production, that is at the end of that 6 weeks, 100 birds would consume between 408 kg to 450 kg of feed. So this is the total amount of feed that 100 birds will consume for 6 weeks. So when you do this calculation now, how many in your location will, some people work with 25 kg per bag of feed, some work with 50 kg per bag of feed. So all you just have to do now is that you divide that 408 kg or 450 kg by 25 or by 50, depending on the bags of feed in your location. So in my whole location now, we make use of 25 kg of feed. So if I divide 408 by 25 or 450 by 25, I'll be arriving at 16 bags to 18 bags of feed. So if I'll be feeding my broilers for 6 weeks now, I will have to give them between 16 bags to 18 bags of feed. So for 5 weeks they will consume 288 to 330 kg. So you do the same division depending on how long you want to keep your birds. So at the end of the day, a bird 100 birds will consume 408 and or 450 kg. So for you to get for the total consumption, that is the total number of feed that a bird consumed during that 6 weeks, you will have to divide that 408 by 100 or 450 by 100, which will give you 4.08 kg of feed to 4.5 kg of feed. So those people that used to say that, oh, feed your birds 4 kg of feed, feed your birds 4.5 kg of feed, this is where they get that idea from. I hope you understand now. This is where they get the idea from. So you can decide to feed your birds 4 kg for 6 weeks. You can decide to feed them 4.2. You can decide to feed them 4.35. You can decide to feed them 4.4. But all you just want to do is that you want the range to be between 4 kg to 4.5 kg of feed. While some people will tell you that you can feed your bird 3 kg of feed for 6 weeks, I will not advise you, like I said initially. So if your budget is 3 kg, that is, you want to feed your birds 3 kg, that is what you can, like, that is what you can afford. I would advise you to limit your production cycle to 5 weeks. So feed them that 3 kg, but ensure that you sell them off at 5 weeks. So extending them to maybe 6 weeks and maintaining 3 kg of feed is malnourishment. That is, you are not giving those birds the right quantity of feed they are supposed to consume at a particular time, and this is really going to affect their FCR at the end of the day, and your own profit margin too will be severely dealt with. Yes, because when you feed your birds 3 kg and sell them at 5 weeks, it will be more profitable on your hand than giving them this feed till 6 weeks. Yes, so this is what you should work with. If you want to feed your birds 3 kg, feed them till 5 weeks and then discard them. If you want to feed them 4 kg, if you want to raise them to 6 weeks, you want to like feed them 4 kg, 4.5 kg of feed. And if you want to extend them to 8 weeks, there is another way you do the calculation, because if you want to extend them to like 8 weeks, 9 weeks, or 12 weeks, you won't be feeding them up to 4 kg of feed at 6 weeks. This is because those birds will be we'll be spending more time on your farm, and I'll be making a separate video to explain this. I hope you understand. This is the best thing I can do on how to explain the quantity of feed your bird is supposed to consume for 6 weeks. So guys, if you find this video helpful, do well to like, subscribe, and share to other fellow farmers that you think might benefit from this particular video. I will see you in the next video. Bye.